Welcome to Eves Memorial Coliseum on the campus of Auburn University, site of the 14th annual Southeastern Conference Women's Gymnastics Championships. Hello everybody, I am Tim Brando, and today you are going to see some of the top young gymnasts in the country, if not the world. Take a look at this number. All total, 4 Olympians, 11 collegiate All-Americans, and 6 of the top 20 teams in the country, including the top-ranked and unbeaten Georgia Bulldogs, winners of 3 consecutive SEC titles and last year's NCAA champion. Third-ranked Alabama, a year ago, runner-up to Georgia in both the SECs and NCAAs. And look at this. Kentucky finishes the season ranked 18th. That's the highest season ranking ever at the end of the year for the Wildcats, and yet they were 0-7 in the conference. And joining me this afternoon is 1984 Olympic silver medalist Kathy Johnson. Kathy, in women's gymnastics, the SEC has been dominant. Without question, Tim. Over the past 7 seasons, the SEC has produced the NCAA team champion 5 times, all-around champion 4 times. Georgia's the defending national team and definitely the dominant team here. They are unbeaten in the regular season for the 3rd consecutive year, and despite a loss of their top all-arounder, Heather Stepp, they returned 7 gymnasts from that national championship team and one of this country's top freshman gymnasts, Leah Brown, who's one of the best vaulters in the U.S. at any level. And it's that kind of depth that really is the difference, according to head coach Suzanne Yoculan. This is not a one-star gymnastics squad.
We don't center our team around one star. You know, we have an entire team of talent. And so if someone falls short, someone else can pick it up. We're not relying on 1 or 2 people for leaders. As a matter of fact, you look at our team and you say, who's not a leader? I mean, everyone is. Kathy, one of the teams that's really kept pace with Georgia the past few years has been Alabama, and this year they did it despite some early season injuries and really with the help of some pretty reliable freshmen. Stephanie Woods and Meredith Willard both responded exceptionally well in competition. Stephanie Woods is an elite gymnast, was a former Pan American champion, and Meredith Willard is the nation's 5th leading all-around gymnast. Now, if they can turn in some great performances, maybe Alabama can break that 6-meet losing streak against Georgia. But this isn't just a dual meet between Georgia and Alabama. As we mentioned earlier, 3 of the last 4 NCAA all-around champions have come from the SEC, the latest out of Kentucky in Jenny Hansen. Jenny tied for the all-around here last year with Dee Foster of Alabama. She's also the defending national all-around champion, so she's very accustomed to pressure. She's certainly one of the best vaulters here in this competition. And there may be a program on the rise down at LSU, and they have an outstanding talent in Jennifer Wood. Jennifer Wood underwent ankle surgery last November, but she's come back very, very strong. Her teammates picked up the slack for her throughout the season, but now that she's healthy and back, maybe they can contend for their first SEC title since 1981. All right, so the stage is set for the SEC Women's Championships in Gymnastics. Back to Auburn, Alabama in just a moment. Bobby, we welcome you back to the Southeastern Conference Women's Gymnastics Championships from the Eves Coliseum in Auburn, Alabama. There have been some rules changes, Kathy, that I think have garnered a great deal of attention in the sport of gymnastics. And they're certainly long overdue. They now fall in line with the FIG rules, which is the rules used at the Olympic Games and at the World Championships. It increases their skill difficulty levels. It also, however, lowers some of the value for the skills that these gymnasts have been doing in the past. And the most important is it eliminates value raising. They cannot combine 2 skills to have it value at a higher level. It's a little harder to get those 10s and 9-9s now. Kentucky coach Leah Little is concerned about some of those changes, initially against them, now has a little different feeling about some of these changes. Well, I said all along that the programs at the top were not going to be affected. I know the Judges Association took the top routines at Nationals last year, judged them under new rules, and those kids were all fine. The Jenny Hansens of the world were fine under new rules. Where it hurts collegiate gymnastics at the teams at the lower levels or the mid-range schools that don't have the depth of a Georgia and Alabama, that can't put 10 or 12 athletes out there on the floor. And I knew it was coming, so we prepared our team a year ago. So like with the beam requirements, we've had a lot of success on beam this year, and one of my assistant coaches said, Leah, you know, we were doing this stuff last year. You forced the kids to do this last year. So I've always believed in my coaching philosophy, whatever the standards that are set, you rise to that. And the rules are there, you do it, or you're not successful. So you push your kids
to achieve at that level. And I think, again, the programs at the top are not suffering from that.
So it really does become a question of depth. The rotations for the first 3 rounds look like this. Number 1, Georgia begins on their most difficult apparatus, the beam. Should the gym dogs hit all routines, they'll be tough to beat since they're ranked number 1 nationally in the other 3 apparatus. The second rotation, an improved Florida team, begins on the vault. They're greatly improved since the arrival of Judy Avner a season ago. And the third rotation will feature Georgia with a bye, Alabama on vault, and LSU on floor X. Here is Stephanie Woods from Alabama. 4th and all around at the '93 World University Games.
She was also a Pan American champion in the all-around and in balance beam in 1991 as an elite gymnast.
Very important for Alabama to get off to a good start.
Stephanie has beautiful flexibility. This time, beautiful. She doesn't have a real high level of difficulty in this routine, but as you can see, she's very, very polished. She hits every position so nicely.
A nice finish for Stephanie Woods. You know, she reminds me a little of Dee Foster, the 1990 NCAA all-around champion and last year's SEC all-around co-champion. And obviously her teammates very happy. Her score 9.65. Her original high was 9.80. That was a season high for her in floor X. Now Leah Brown of Georgia on the balance beam.
Leah is incredibly powerful, as you can see by that mount onto the balance beam. This is actually her weakest event of all the 4.
She came with a lot of advanced billing to Georgia and has not disappointed.
This event can be very nerve-wracking to start out on. But Georgia is so disciplined and so prepared for competition. One big breath before dismount, double back. Clearly the best part of the routine, and she can really show off her power and her strength.
She stuck that landing, no doubt about it. And you can tell that her teammates believe that it may be her best ever effort on the beam. And look at that, a 9.85. That's a career high for her, and a big lift for the entire Georgia team. Here's Becky Erwin now of Auburn on the vault.
Beautiful height on that vault. With the new rules, that vault's only worth a 9.9, so that's the highest she can score. Of course, there will be a deduction for the step on the landing.
She's been the team's outstanding leader. Young sophomore out of Pasadena, Texas. And really, this has been her best event for the Auburn team. 9.60 on her first attempt.
All she needs to do is improve the landing. Much better. She really does that vault exceptionally well. Good height off the horse, a nice clean tuck position.
There are the numbers, 9.775, and that's the score that will stick, and the Auburn faithful very happy for Becky Erwin. Here's Kim Kelly of Alabama on florets. She had a career-high 9.975 in their last meet with LSU. She scored over 9.9 in her last 4 meets, so she has been outstanding.
Kim has some great experience in gymnastics. She competed internationally for the United States at the World Championships when they placed 4th. Beautiful opening tumbling run. It's a whip back through to a tight double back. With the new rules, we're going to see that pass quite a bit. Seeing a lot of whip backs through to more difficult skills to get some bonus points. Notice how clean her tumbling is.
You get a feeling that she's really on. Sophomore from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, that has established herself as a leader on this outstanding team. Ranked 4th as an all-around gymnast with a 9.95. Here is Hope Spivey Shealy on the balance beam from Georgia, 1991 NCAA all-around champion.
Hope is on the U.S. Olympic team in 1988, so she brought a lot of experience into her collegiate career, and she has had a terrific collegiate career. She's become very consistent.
Just a couple of weeks ago, she had a season-high 9.90 on the beam against BYU in a dual meet.
As you can see, she's so aggressive on this event. The skill she has done for so many years and done so well. Very nice double back, just one step on that landing.
She has to know that with this kind of score, not only for herself but for the team, it will be awfully difficult for Alabama to catch Georgia for the championship. Coming up next, Judy Avner and the Florida Gators on the vault.
Watt Motor Company
Of the 1990 Women's Gymnastics Championship continues. Here's Kristen Guise of Florida on the vault.
And this is one of Kristen's weaker events, but if she can do well here, it can help her in the all-around. Very nice handspring front vault. It's worth a 9.9 in the Coda points.
Since Judy Avner's arrival from Penn State a year ago, Florida's biggest improvement has come on the vault, and you see in the first attempt for Kristen, 9.725. Didn't take long for Judy to realize school colors.
Really, the only thing that she can improve on with this vault is the landing. Get a little bit more solid on that landing. It's a difficult vault to land. It's a blind landing where you can't see the mat. That was about the same. It might score a little better. It's hard to say.
The sophomore from Coral Springs will admit that this is one of her weaker events. Her strength's really the uneven bars. But if she vaults well, it will really help Florida's chances in moving up into the upper echelon, and her score is 9.75. Agina Simpkins of Georgia and the Florex.
She was third in the all-around last year at the SECs. Very exciting gymnast to watch, very powerful.
This routine netted her a season best 9.975 at home in their last meet against Alabama.
Beautiful front with a full into a punch front. That's a skill that's valued quite highly in the new code of points. Interesting, most gymnasts who are powerful really don't have the flexibility to go along with it, and Agina does. It's nice to see.
Agina Simpkins, last year's NCAA champion on the uneven bars. She scored a perfect 10 there, and a 9.925 here in floor X, her second highest ever in floor exercise. Heidi Seibert getting ready for the uneven bars. In her last meet against Missouri, she had a career high 9.75 on bars, and everyone here is wishing her the best.
Nice front giant work, through to a front somersault. She's got plenty of difficulty in this routine. I'd like to see a little more amplitude on the release moves. Tuck double back, good landing, just feet a little bit apart.
A freshman out of Madera, California, injured earlier in the year, has come back to score not only career highs on uneven bars, but also on balance beam. And now Hope Spivey Shealy back to floor exercise.
And this really is Hope's very best event. She's an outstanding tumbler as an elite gymnast, has always performed a very, very high level of difficulty.
Two-time defending SEC floor exercise champion.
Watch the power in her tumbling. Bull twisting double back. She was one of the first collegiate gymnasts to ever do that skill in competition.
There's another unique aspect to this routine that you'll soon see.
That must be what you were talking about. A little bit of originality there, playing with the music. Beautiful high tuck double back for the final pass. I'd be exhausted too. A lot of difficulty in the routine, a lot of energy.
Yet another outstanding performance on floor X from Hope Spivey Shealy. Agina Simpkins there to give her a hug. They're calling for another 10, and there it is, her 26th in her collegiate career. And don't you know that Suzanne Yoculan is happy about it? It will be tough for Alabama to catch Georgia this afternoon. Back with more from Auburn in a moment. For SEC Women's Gymnastics Championships continue from Auburn, and here is Kara Stilp of Alabama getting ready for the vault. She's averaged 9.8 on this apparatus in the last 2 meets.
And she's coming back from an injury. Just getting into form on this event. Hand-free front vault. Very excited about it.
She's a senior out of Austin, Texas.
As you can see, she tucks a little bit too soon. She's still on the horse, and she's already into her tuck. If she can ride that off, she'd get a little bit more height, and it'd just be prettier in the air.
9.75 on her first attempt.
Pretty much the same as the first one. I think the first one might have been a little bit better.
You mentioned that leg injury earlier. She's been back for about 5 meets now, and that's great news for Alabama as she rounds into shape. Second attempt, 9.725. Here is Jenny Hansen of Kentucky on the balance beam. First look at the 93 NCAA all-around champion.
Beautiful mount. Very aggressive. Just slightly off on that. Really a true sign of a good competitor is one who does not let a slight little mistake get the best of her. She really pulled that back on. Very nice pass. That will earn her some bonus points. The judges are really looking for more difficulty in combinations. There's a dismount. Double twist.
And she stuck the landing. You know, this isn't her favorite apparatus.
Her best events are vaults and floor exercise, and mainly because of her power. But watch right here. She's a tiny bit off, but she pulls it back on immediately.
Happiness on the Kentucky side. Her score, a 9.90. And here is LSU's favorite, sophomore from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Jennifer Wood, in floor exercise.
And LSU is thrilled to have Jennifer back and healthy. She had ankle surgery in November. And this is the biggest test to her ankle. This event is so hard on feet and ankles. Front through to a tuck double back, no problem. You see she stepped right on the line, but that's not a deduction. sharpshooter, front somersault.
Not bad for a young lady that had ankle surgery back in November. 9.75 for Wood. We're now told that that actually should read 9.85. And here's Meredith Willard of Alabama on vault. And on her last meet against LSU, she recorded a career-high 9.95 on this apparatus.
Strong, powerful run. Very nice vault. Much more difficult than the vaults we've seen. She added a half twist. Watch this. She comes off the horse, does the half twist, and then back out.
Pretty good. 9.85 in her first attempt. It will be difficult for her to improve on that mark.
Watch again, watch that twist. She was a little tucked on the horse that time, but she's so powerful, she's still able to get quite a bit of amplitude off the horse.
So her second score, you'd thinking it is. It's a little beneath the first, so it's the first score that counts. 9.85 for Meredith Willard, and now Kim Kelly, also of Alabama.
Kim's performing a pike front somersault, much more difficult than the front tuck. It's a beautiful position in the air with the legs straight. She was just a tiny bit off to the side, so she'll get a little deduction on the direction. Kim has always been an excellent vaulter. The United States really relied on her vaulting at international competition. This vault's worth a 10.0 in the code of points. It's a highly respected vault as well. She needs to open up just a little bit sooner to stick the ball. There it is. That was beautiful.
The appreciation coming from the rest of the team as well as the coaching staff for Kim Kelly. And with that mark, 9.975, she stands atop our leaderboard after 3 rotations. Leah Brown of Georgia second, Willard, Guise, and LSU's Jennifer Wood round out the top 5. The 1994 SEC Women's Gymnastics Championships continue, and the standings after the 3rd rotation, Georgia in first, followed by Alabama and LSU. There's the head coach of the home team at this competition, Robert Dillard, now in his 9th year, and very satisfied to have a gymnast as good as Becky Erwin.
I think what she gives to this team more than anything else, it's an assumed leadership. It's not something someone tells someone to do. She goes out, and these girls know Becky is going to do it, and they have all the confidence in the world that Becky will come through, and this has helped them calm down in pressure situations and say, you know, Becky's coming up, and boom, and it's helped a couple of our seniors and junior athletes to settle down, and now our upperclassmen are really knocking it out. They're almost picture perfect every time out. Our freshmen are getting that way, and I think Becky has had that kind of a leadership, and then having her be able to go out and compete head-to-head with anybody in the conference gives our girls a lot more pride, a source of pride, and yet knowing full well that all of our team members can't match up that way. Becky does put us into that other category, and I think that's added an awful lot to our program.
Here she is on the beam, a competition that she won twice as a freshman.
I think most collegiate gymnasts would agree that one of the most rewarding aspects of collegiate gymnastics is competing as a team, finding their role as part of a team. Because as an elite gymnast, it's so much individual and just competing for yourself. Becky has extreme flexibility and beautiful form on this event. Prior to her college career, she competed twice at the U.S. National Championships. really does exceptional work here. Plenty of difficulty. Beautiful form, amplitude. Certainly one of the best beam routines here.
Falling back into the arms of those who care.
But you don't move your feet.
Should be a very high score, and Coach Dillard was very accurate in describing what she means to this team. A score of 9.925, a season high for Becky Erwin. Here is Leslie Angelis of Georgia on the vault.
Many say she was the highest recruit coming out of high school.
Freshman out of Madison Heights, Michigan.
That's Doug McGavin, their vault coach. He's an assistant coach at University of Georgia and one of the best technicians in the sport. He was actually a coach of mine in my early years, too many years ago.
Are you saying he's been around?
And he's done so much good for this program. He's had finalists at the national championships many years in a row.
Suzanne Yoculan really happy to have this freshman in her lineup. Here's her second vault.
Has nice strength and power, good technique.
Almost effortless in sticking that landing. There's the score, 9.875. So her second attempt is the one that counts. On to the uneven bars, and Kim Kelly of Alabama. She's the all-around leader at the moment. And over the last 6 meets, she's averaged 9.875 on the uneven bars.
And you're in for a treat with that mount. Round off back over the bar. She actually goes underneath the high bar to do it. This is what the judges are looking for. More difficulty in terms of the pirouetting on top of the bar and the release moves like that one. She has a more balanced routine than most of the other gymnasts here. Nice dismount, high double back.
What's not to like, huh? Kim Kelly with a score of 9.775 on the uneven bars. And the veteran Jenny Hansen of Kentucky with her floor X.
This is a great event for Jenny. She has to really show off her power. Full twisting double back in height position. Front with a full, stepping out of it and tumbling right out.
The first musical transition we've heard in a floor exercise so far today.
It does all sound a lot the same, doesn't it?
The young lady from Somerset, Wisconsin, happy with that routine, utilizing a little ZZ Top in her musical competition.
This concludes the fourth competition.
And the numbers are absolutely perfect. A perfect 10 for Jenny Hansen. This score will be much needed, perhaps, for Jenny in trying to become the all-around champion. She is the 93 defending NCAA all-around champion, but here at the SEC Women's Gymnastics Championship, she's being challenged by Leah Brown, who you see preparing for the vault, and she talked with us about her preparation for the mount.
Well, it's kind of funny because I stay in there for a long time, and I think about it. I think about what Doug has told me, you know, the whole vault. I start from my run, and then from the take off the board, from the block, I think about everything he's told me, and I go through it one more time, and then, you know, the last thing I say is stick, and then I go.
Time to stick and go.
She's one of the most powerful vaulters, not only in this competition. Look at that. Pike front with a half twist. Must be exciting. Doug really has a lot of talent to work with this year, especially on the vault. And he is such a pleasure to work with as well.
9.925 on her first attempt.
He's certainly performing the most difficult vault in the competition. Requires the most strength and power and speed. Concentrating on the landing right now. The one thing she can improve on. Oh, a little bit short. She was trying to make the correction for the landing, but she's got a great first vault, and that score will count.
But give her credit for focusing on that second attempt. Very difficult task to improve upon a 9.925, and that will be her score. Yeah, you could say they've got a dynasty at Georgia. We'll be back to Auburn in just a moment. Movement year by year in women's gymnastics, and here's Kristen Guise of Florida on the beam.
Now take notice of this mount. It's a beautiful, stretched out straddle split mount. Normally she performs a much more difficult, risky mount. She's having trouble with it, so she took it out. She back handsprings to a layout step out, little check on the landing. Really a very smart decision to change that mount. You have to determine whether the risk is worth it. And on balance beam, it generally isn't. Now watch this combination. Switch leg leap, right to a kick out, into a back shoulder roll. Very nice combination. Dismount, very nice.
Hey, did she focus before that dismount?
Very difficult dismount, primarily because it's so hard to land. You don't see the ground at all. You just have to go on feeling alone.
It's performances like that, a career high from Kristen Guise, that will help Judy Abner's team in the future. Now Leah Brown on bars. If she scores at least a 9.825, she clinches at least a tie for the all-around title.
Tie would be with Jenny Hansen, who unfortunately had trouble on the uneven bars and only scored a 9.5. Beautiful work so far here. Look at that, a full pirouette right into a reverse hex. Nice difficulty. Another full pirouette right into a tuck double back. In that routine, slightly pulled her legs apart in what we call a cowboy position in the dismount.
That score, 9.90, should be enough to give her the all-around championship.
Now Lori Strong on bars, and we will not be seeing the strong move because of changes in the rules. She explains for us.
With the changes in the code of points, it was only a D, and I'm able to do 2 E's now. So we decided to go with that, and the E's that I'm doing, there's less chance of deduction in it. With the strong, it's very hard to do it perfect because you're twisting so quickly that your legs separate a little bit, and sometimes a judge can take off for that. So we decided to try without it. Maybe next year or the year after we could bring it back. We don't know.
A judgment call, to say the least, for Lori.
So instead of the strong move, we see a smart move. Judges are requiring a lot more difficulty, and those D's and E's get the gymnast bonus points. And that was an E, the pike front somersault. Here's the dismount, double layout, and that's another E move. She really has upgraded the level of difficulty in this routine.
Spivey Shealy giving her a hug. So without the strong move, her score a 9.90. And coming up, Alabama cheering their way to the final rotation. And now in this final rotation, Alabama needs 49.4 total points to challenge #1 Georgia. And Sarah Patterson realizes this final apparatus, the beam, is a difficult one for her team, but they're ready.
Well, I think if you start off well, and yeah, it can help you, but our particular draw, we end on balance beam, and that's what we did last year at the Super 6 finals. And to win second place over the University of Utah, we had to go 6 for 6 on balance beam, and we did. For us, we have practiced balance beam last. We have competed balance beam last. We've been in numerous pressure situations this year where we have had to come through on balance beam in order to win a meet. So I feel very confident. I think that we can have one of the best beam teams in the country.
She may be looking, Kathy, beyond just this competition with the change here with Marna Neubauer.
I think she's playing around with the lineup with the NCAA's in mind. Round off layout mount, very difficult. Now keep in mind, in order to score 49.4, that's an average of 9.88. And so we see very high scores at this competition. It'd be hard for 5 gymnasts to score over 9.8 on the balance beam. They can't afford any breaks, not even that slight balance break that we just saw.
Neubauer, a sophomore from Blue Springs, Missouri. The rest of the team looking on.
Oh.
She's struggling.
Fall, of course, is 5/10 of a point off. However, this is valuable experience for Marna, especially if she is going to be in the lineup at the NCAA Championships. She was so close to the dismount, too.
Kim Bonaventura had been competing generally on this apparatus, and that's the spot that Neubauer took. And there you see the support that she's been given. The score 9.125 for Neubauer. Now Jennifer Wood of LSU on the uneven bar.
Beautiful mount sequence right into a release move. Pirouette into another release move, showing a lot of difficulty. Full pirouette into a dismount. Nice job.
And
And the faithful from the Bayou are there to offer support for their top gymnast who rebounded from injuries to return to this team. Dee Dee Pollock very proud of Jennifer Wood and the sacrifice she made for her team. A 9.925 for Jennifer Wood. And now here's Jenny Hansen. This is her best event, the vault.
She's very capable of big scores here. Front with a half. Beautiful landing. Unfortunately, she'd have to score over a 10 to take the lead back from Leah Brown.
Her downfall at this competition, the uneven bars, because of that 9.50 that she recorded. Leah Brown afforded the opportunity to seize, and Jenny Hansen ends on a high note, though, with a perfect 10 on the vault. A past all-around champion, but this is the team champion. The Georgia Gym Dogs have done it again.
You know, the closest thing I ever tasted.
Campus of Auburn University here in Auburn, Alabama, where the 1994 Women's Gymnastics Championship and the Southeastern Conference are now complete. Georgia, the Gym Dogs, have once again won it with a tremendous score. Alabama challenging again, finishing in second place, and LSU, Dee Dee Pollock's improved Tigress, is third. Now, Leah Brown will claim the all-around championship at 39.5. Jenny Hansen, the 1993 NCAA all-around champion, finishes second, and Agina Simpkins of Georgia winds up in third. It has been an event-filled afternoon here in Auburn, and when we return, Kathy Johnson and I will wrap it all up here on Sports Up. Individual. The level of talent for Florida, LSU, Kentucky, Alabama, so outstanding, we sometimes lose sight of just how great the rest of this conference really is.
Particularly from the freshman class, we saw so many great things, which shows a great future over the next 3 or 4 years for collegiate gymnastics, and certainly the highlight event here was vault.
Our congratulations to Leah Brown, the all-around champion of the Southeastern Conference, and to the Gym Dogs of the University of Georgia with yet another SEC title in their hands. For Kathy Johnson, this is Tim Brando saying so long from Auburn, Alabama.